Hello everyone. In this class, we'll discuss about the second chapter of a textbook, that is microorganisms, friend or foe. In this chapter, we'll discuss about different microorganisms and how they are beneficial and harmful to us. Some microbes are there which gives a benefit, which are good for us, and there are some microbes which are harmful to us. So here friend means the microorganisms which are beneficial to us, and foe means enemy, that is the microorganisms which are causing harm to us. So let us get into the class. In our daily life, we see a number of organisms around us. So what is an organism? Any living thing you can consider as an organism. Okay, a man is an organism, a cow is an organism, a bird is an organism, a mosquito is an organism, a plant is an organism. Okay, so in our daily life we can see a number of organisms with our eyes. For example, when you are moving from your home to school, you have seen number of human beings, cows, dogs, birds, mosquito, etc. are there. But you may think that in your daily life you can see number of organisms with your eyes, so you can see everything with your eyes. As you are having eye, we are having eye, so we can think that we can see everything with our eyes. But this is not the truth. There are some organisms which you cannot see with your eyes, that means with our naked eyes. Ultimately, using any microscope we can see, but with our naked eyes we cannot see all organisms. So we cannot see all organisms around us with our naked eyes, that is only by eyes. So what we need to see them? Obviously you all know we need a microscope to see them, right? We need a microscope to see them. So to get a clear idea of what are these microorganisms, first let me give you an example and understand it. Before eating any food, you might have all of you have heard that wash your hand properly before eating. Why we wash our hand before eating? Because we all know that there are some microorganisms which in our hand which we cannot see. So if you wash our hand properly, all these microorganisms will be killed and we will not have any disease. Is that clear? So these are the microorganisms which we cannot see with our eyes, but we need to take care of these. So to see them, what we need? We need a microscope. See here the diagram, it is a microscope. What is a microscope? It is nothing but a machine that makes very small objects look into big size. You can see small things into big size. These are microscope. Now what are microorganisms? We are talking about microorganisms. So first understand two terms. One is micro, another one is macro. Micro means small and this macro means big. Macro means big and micro means small. Is this clear? So organisms, you all know any living thing you can consider as organism. So microorganism means small organisms which we cannot see. Micro, the organisms that cannot be seen with our naked eyes and can only be observed through a microscope are called microorganisms or microbes. As I said earlier, you need a microscope to see these organisms. So the organisms which we cannot see with our naked eyes and can be only observed through a microscope are called microorganisms. For example, all bacteria, virus and fungi. The best example you can consider for this time is a virus. You all have heard the COVID-19 virus now. Is it clear? Coronavirus. Have you ever seen this virus? No, because we cannot see virus with our naked eyes. Is this clear? You can see a cow with your eyes, but you cannot see a virus, a bacteria, a fungi with our eyes. So the best example of a microorganism is your SARS-CoV-2, that is your SARS-CoV-2, that is coronavirus. So the virus looks like this, and this is a photograph, electron microscope photograph of a bacteria, and this is a fungi. Probably all of you have seen this fungi. We can see fungi with our naked eyes. Remember this. There are some fungi which you can see with our naked eyes also. These lives in group. Then there are types of microorganism. How many types of microorganism there are? There are basically two types of microorganisms. One is unicellular, another one is multicellular. Now you all know what is cell. Cell is the basic structural unit of life. That means when some cells get together, they form tissue. Then tissue will then cell, then tissue, then organ. So ultimately, cell is constituting the main everything, every organ of our body, and ultimately the complete organism. So there are some organisms which are unicellular and some are multicellular. What do you mean a uni and multi? Uni means one. Uni means one. Uni means one, and multi means more than one. One plus means multi. You can some organisms have 2, 3, 4, 1000 cells. Some have. So these are multicellular organisms. Okay. So there are some basic terms such as microbiology, microbiologist. Okay, what is microbiology? What is biology? The science in which we study about living organisms is biology. So what is microbiology? This science that deals with the study of microbes called microbiology. That means the science in which we study only the microbes is known as microbiology. So again, second term is microbiologist. Look at this logist. Okay, logist. You have heard scientist. Who is a scientist? Who is called a scientist? The person, a person who studies science is known as scientist. So is microbiologist. The scientists who study microorganisms are called microbiologist. To simple definition, what is microbiology? The science that deals with the study of microbes is called microbiology, and microbiologist, the scientists who study microorganisms are called microbiologists. So let us know a bit of history. Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Antony van Leeuwenhoek was the first scientist who described and studied microorganisms in the year 1674. Remember this name. This may come in your exam. So far we know about who are microorganisms, how these are affecting everything, and how many types are there. Microorganisms are small organisms which we cannot see with our naked eyes. We need a microscope to see them. Okay, there are two types. One is unicellular, another one is multicellular. Uni means only one cell, multi means more than one or two cells. Now we need to know about where they live, where microorganisms live. So make one thing clear that you are human, you cannot live everywhere. Okay, you can live in earth, you cannot live in other planet, but there are evidences that microorganism lives everywhere. So in nature, microbes are present everywhere. Microbes are present everywhere in earth, inside earth also. In air, microbes are there. In soil, microbes are there. In water, microbes are there. In everywhere in environment, microbes are there. Even in other planets also, microbes are found. Some microbes live along with some alone, and some live in group called colonies. Okay, similar like human beings, some homes in a area, you may find a single home in a single area. Okay, and there are some area where multiple homes are present in a single area. So these areas are known as colonies. Okay, so when a microbe is found single is known as single cell or single place, you can consider it single. And when it is found in a group, you can consider it as a colony of microbes. Colony of microbes. So microbes are found in, as I told, in microbes they are found in air, soil, in water bodies. Water bodies means in different places where water is there, like sea, rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. There are different water bodies. They are also found in dead and decaying organisms. Look at this image. You all have seen this image or this type of situation around you. If there is a dead plant, in a dead plant you may have seen this type of mushrooms are there. What are these? These are nothing but microorganisms, fungi. Mushrooms are nothing but microorganisms, fungi. Where they live, they can live, not mushroom, microorganisms can live in air, soil, in water bodies like sea, lakes, rivers, pond, etc. Along with them, they can also live in dead and decaying. Dead means An organism is dead. And decaying means after it is been dead, it is decomposing. Decomposition is going on. Just move into next. Okay, they are also found inside our bodies. Now this is a bit interesting. You can find microorganisms inside our body also. For example, in our stomach, gut, there is bacteria. Which bacteria is present in here? You will find E. coli. E. coli means Escherichia coli. It is a bacteria you will find inside our stomach. They are also beneficial to our human beings. That's why it is present inside our body. They exist in extreme environments like of temperature, like droughts, in hot water springs, in deserts, polar region, marshlands. So microorganisms are found in different kind of environment where temperature varies from cold to high. For example, in places where drought is found, where rainfall is less, or for many years rainfall is not there, this image is of drought. Okay, you can see, you can delete this image. Then hot water springs, then it comes deserts. In desert, when temperature is too high, then polar region where temperature is too low, then comes marshlands. What is marshland? Marshy land is a land, for example, where for most of the time the land is covered by water, is known as marshy land. Okay, microorganisms survive in extreme environmental conditions by forming a hard outer covering called cyst. So how they survive in this extreme environment? For example, if you are traveling to a different place, what you need? You need a covered jacket for protecting you. Similarly, microorganisms survive in different extreme environmental conditions by forming a hard outer covering. For example, if this is the microorganism, this will form a hard cover outside it, and it will protect him from the extreme environment, and this is known as cyst. CYST, cyst. There are some groups of microorganisms. Okay, earlier we read about the types means there are two types, either it may be unicellular or multicellular. Now we'll read about the groups, how many groups of microorganisms there are basically five groups are there. First is bacteria, then virus, then algae, fungi, and protozoa. These names are more or less familiar to you all. Bacteria you all know, virus, algae, fungi, and protozoa. There are five basic groups of microorganisms, and these are the plural. These are plural and these are singular forms of these all names. Bacteria is in singular, it is bacterium. Virus in singular is virus. Algae in singular form is alga. Fungi is fungus, and protozoa is protozoan. Just remember these five basic groups of microorganisms. First is bacteria, then virus, then algae, fungi, and protozoa. So what are these bacteria? What is bacteria? Bacteria are nothing but a very small and simplest organisms. What are bacteria? Bacteria are small microorganisms which are very small and simple in their life form. They can vary in size from 0.2 to 100 microns. 0.2 to 100 microns. Now, this micron. What is this unit? You have heard about meter, centimeter, nanometer, and all millimeter. So 1 micron equals to 1 by 1000th millimeter. Okay, 1 micron equals to 1 by 1000 of millimeter. So assume this, how small this is. It can vary in size from 0.2 to 100 microns. They are single-celled organisms found almost everywhere. Bacteria, in most cases, there are some little exceptions, but in majority of cases, they are single-celled organisms found in almost everywhere. Okay, you can find bacteria in air, in soil, in water, in deep sea also. Bacteria are also present there. So basically, there are four shapes of bacteria. The first is Bacilli. The bacilli means the bacillus group, where the shape of the bacteria is mostly rod shaped. Rod shaped. So this is your bacillus. Just look at the shape. This is some rod like shape. There is a straight shape is there. Then the second type is cocci. Cocci means these are spherical shape. These are spherical shape. Look at this. These are round like spheres. So these are your cocci group. It is spherical shape. Then it comes as vibrio group is there. What are vibrio? Vibrio are comma shaped bacteria. Comma shape. Look at this. This looks like comma. This looks like comma. So these are known as comma shaped bacteria. Then the last is spiralia. That is the spiral shaped bacteria. Spiral shaped. Look at this. These are like this spiral. These are like this spiral. Spiral shaped bacteria. Okay. So there are four shapes of bacteria. Bacilli, that is rod shaped. Cocci is spherical shaped. Vibrio is your comma shaped, and spiralia is your spiral shaped. Four shape clear. Bacilli shape example, as I told you in the previous case, Escherichia coli, that is E. coli is the example of your bacilli. Then cocci. Cocci example is this spherical shape example is Streptococcus pneumoniae. Then Vibrio is Vibrio cholera. You all know cholera disease causing by Vibrio cholera. Okay, then Spiralia, Spirillum. Remember one thing, whenever you are writing these examples in your answer, give underline, two underline. For first word one underline, and for second word another underline. This is rule of biology. Okay, give underline over this whenever you are writing in exam. Then comes our viruses, the most dangerous one. Okay, remember virus are nothing but some poisonous liquid. You can, for simplest form, you can remember this: virus are nothing but some poisonous liquid. Virus are the smallest organisms. Second point says virus are the smallest organisms. That means among these all, that is your bacteria, virus, algae, fungi, protozoa. Virus are the smallest organism. Their size ranges from 20 to 300 nanometer. 20 to 300 nanometer. Okay. They can be studied only under electron microscope. So far all the organisms we have studied, bacteria, that is we have studied only bacteria. Bacteria can be studied with the help of normal microscope. Okay, in initial case you can start with a compound microscope, but for virus you always need a electron microscope. Electron microscope is a high level one. It is a high level one. Okay, it is a high level one, so it is a costly one. You cannot get it easily. So study a virus is very difficult. The next thing, in the previous case of bacteria, we have said that bacteria can go everywhere because they have some mechanism by which they can survive everywhere. Okay, but in case of virus, they cannot go everywhere because there are some limitation. They cannot grow and reproduce on their own. Grow means the process of growth, how they grow, and reproduce means production of one from another, that is from one becoming two to three, like this is reproduction. Okay, from one generating more, this generating more population. Okay, so they cannot do this process by their own. So what they need for this? Virus enter living cell, then they use host machinery to reproduce. How to understand this? Learn about coronavirus, how this survive. A virus first enters a human body, right? Human body, it first enters a human body, then inside human body it grows and reproduces itself, and then infects the human body. Is it clear? Host means the organism in which it enters. Okay, then viruses are known as the connecting link between living and non-living. For this habit of that cannot self grow and reproduce and depends on other, it is known as the connecting link between living and non-living. It is not considered as living, and some considered as non-living, and some considered as living. So it is a confusion till now. So it is considered as connecting link in between. Some examples are influenza virus are there example, then HIV virus. HIV means human immunodeficiency virus. Okay, then polio virus is there. Polio, all of you know. Next comes our algae. Algae is a group of simple plants. Now see plants. Now you can say, sir, you are telling plants over here, and you are in the beginning you told these are not plants. We cannot see with our eyes plants. So these are the small group of plants which we cannot see single algae with your eyes, or it may be very difficult. Okay, in majority of case you can see algae, but as a colony it will be growing as thousands together or millions together, then only you can see. Single you cannot see easily. Okay, algae comes from a Latin word, and its Latin meaning is seaweed. Seaweed. Weed means, what is weed? Any undesirable plant. In the previous class I told, the previous chapter, any undesirable plant is known as weed. So these are the seaweed, that means the undesirable plant of seed. They vary in size, shape and habitat. Different, they can live in different places. Similarly, as in previous vector, not in vector, in case of microorganisms I told, they can be unicellular and multicellular. Uni means only one cell. Example is Chlamydomonas is a unicellular. This is your Chlamydomonas, only one cell is there. Okay, in Chlamydomonas. And Volvox are multicellular, or still there is some confusion about this among the scientists. Either they are multicellular or unicellular, but they are always found in colonies. You will never find one alone. They are always found in colonies. They don't have stem, roots and leaves like other plants, but have chlorophyll. See, here I told these are simple plants. What plant do? Plant produce their own foods. We all know how they produce, by the process of photosynthesis. Plant produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Now, in photosynthesis, what is there? Photosynthesis, what is there? Plant take water from soil, then chlorophyll is there in leaf, then sunlight, then CO2, and it gives. Eh, sorry for the interruption. In photosynthesis, what happens? Plant takes water from soil, chlorophyll is present in their leaf, they take energy from sunlight and carbon dioxide from environment. This chlorophyll is the main factor for which plant can produce their own food. That is, plant takes chlorophyll, plant have chlorophyll in their leaf, and this chlorophyll is helping in this process of photosynthesis. As we are considering these as plants, small plants, that means they will have chlorophyll in their leaf, and for this chlorophyll they can produce their own food and known as autotroph. What are autotrophs? Algae known as, some algae known as autotrophs. Autotrophs. What are autotrophs? The organisms which can produce their own food. Then comes fungi or fungi. What are fungi? Fungi is a group of diverse organisms that lack chlorophyll. Fungi lack chlorophyll. Remember, out of all this, who are having chlorophyll? Algae is having chlorophyll. Okay, and fungi is not having any chlorophyll. They generally grow in dark, warm and moist condition. You all have seen this dark and moist condition. You know this. This is mushroom. You all have seen mushroom in your home nearby area. They always grow on dark and moist places, and on dead and decaying organisms, or in dead and decaying places. Most of fungi feed on dead things. For example, if there is a dead plant on that only fungus will grow, or dead organisms on that fungus will grow. For example, another example I'm giving, if you bring some orange from market and place it at your home, after some days what will happen? It will start decomposing. Okay, and at that process you may have seen some white ash like things upon that, white cotton like things upon that. What are these? These are fungi. These fungi are growing on the dead and decaying fruit. So they always feed on dead things, while some live on other organisms, and there are some fungi which can live on other organisms. That is saprophytic. Saprophytic means living on other organisms, or parasitic, it may also be parasitic. Fungi can be unicellular like yeast, multicellular like mushroom. So fungi also can be two types. Unicellular example is yeast, one cell, and multicellular is mushroom. So the mushroom you all see is a multicellular organism, remember, and yeast is a unicellular organism. Examples of fungi: yeast, mold, that is mucor, mushroom, and penicillium. Remember this name, penicillium, it will come in your utility purpose. Then comes protozoa. What are protozoa? Some consider them as the first animal. Okay, first animal means these are the organisms which came first. Some consider, but there is no some evidence for this. Okay, all protozoa are unicellular microorganisms. Remember this point, all protozoa are unicellular, they cannot be multicellular. All protozoa are unicellular, and this is the reason people consider it as first animal. That is, in the initial period everything was simple, then from simple the complex thing started, and ultimately everything evolved in this present situation. So as they are in this group, all simple organisms are found, so these are considered as first animal, or the primitive first one. These are these groups are under kingdom Protista. They are grouped into another separate kingdom. This is known as Protista. These are found in ponds, lakes, rivers, sea, damp soil. These are found in different places. These are pond, lakes, rivers, sea, damp soils. But how they feed? They can be saprophytic or parasitic. They can be saprophytic or parasitic. This mode of nutrition means they are dependent on others for their food. Parasitic means they will live on other organisms and they will obtain their food from them. They will live on other organisms and they will obtain food from them. And saprophytic means they will live on dead and decaying organisms. Euglena is the only exception. Remember, in all this previous group you have not got no exception. Okay, but in protozoa there is only one exception, that is Euglena. What is Euglena? Euglena is a protozoa that has chlorophyll, so it can prepare its own food. Remember, the organisms having a chlorophyll can prepare its own food. Okay, so as Euglena being a protozoa have chlorophyll, so it can prepare its own food. Other than this, all Euglena are either saprophytic or parasitic. Okay, examples of protozoa are amoeba. You all know amoeba, you can see the shape from here. Then paramecium, this is your paramecium. Then Euglena, these are Euglena. See, these are green in color, right? Green means presence of chlorophyll is there, so these are green. Remember, so up to this much your today class is over. So in this class what we have discussed, what are microorganisms, then next is types, then next where they live, next is how they, there is next was where they live, the next group of microbes, and the last is we discussed all in details. So up to this much, if any confusion let me know, and if it is clear then also let me know. Okay, if any confusion I'll make it understand in detail again, but read this from book, and for reference use this video. And regarding this I'll ask question also in the after this session, so watch this properly and at the same time make notes on this. Okay, regarding your homework I'll inform you later on. Thank you.